So here I am, living pretty happily ever after, but sensing that there could be more. And I'm not really dissatisfied, but I'm sensing that there could be more. Well, what you're wanting, it's not greed that's driving you. It's not power that's driving you. What you're wanting is to keep up with what you've already generated through life. We want to say to you that we've never met anyone who stayed moment by moment up to speed with everything that's in your vortex. Your vortex could keep you happily busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes. So what you are describing to us is that there's always this calling. You could call it the call of potential. We call it the call of your inner being who is already living what you've asked to live yourself. And your inner being is calling you to the fullness of it. Not because you need that manifestation to be happy, but because the journey along the path to that just feels so rich and delicious. Ask yourself, would I rather feel enthusiastic about something or bored? Now, you could take it another way. Would I rather feel overwhelmed or peaceful? Well, of course you'd rather feel peaceful than overwhelmed. But let's take it further. Would you rather feel energetic and adventurous and excited about something or bored? And we know the answers to those questions, whether you are knowing them or not. The answer is you must move toward what you've become, or you become complacent and dissatisfied, which brings us to really what you're asking about. To take action from a place of split energy is always unpleasant. So to try to focus, let's say you're focused upon something not working, to dig in and try to offer effort and to try to think harder about how you're going to get that done just causes you to pile more engines on in opposition. So the rule of thumb that we would apply if we were standing in your physical shoes would be, we would follow the good feeling thoughts. So if, for example, you feel a little enthusiasm about something, then that's when you really want to start thinking about it. Because if there's even a little bit of enthusiasm and you begin thinking about it, then that's the momentum that you're increasing. On the other hand, if you're worried about something and you think harder about it, then that's the energy that you're increasing. So we want you to take away from this day's conversation, what's this thought that I'm doing? Which end of my train am I applying a new engine to? When you say, well, I feel a little bored and I realize that I have more potential. Maybe I should apply myself a little better. Maybe I should study a little harder, and maybe I should get a little more involved in what I want. That's piling engines on the wrong end of the train. And you can tell by the way you feel as you do it. But if you're saying something like, well, I like momentum and I like to feel good and I like when ideas flow and I'm looking forward to new ideas flowing and I really like getting hold of a new idea. I love a new idea taking me with it, and I love the feeling that law of attraction brings me as more cooperative components are gathered. And when I think about it, I'd rather feel adventurous than afraid. And yet, when you think about it, think about those two emotions. Don't they kind of go together for a lot of people? You're going to get into Esther's Audi R8 with Esther, and she's going to show you how fast it can go in 4 seconds. You might feel adventure, and you might feel dread and fear. And we're just asking you which feels better. We're just asking you which feels better, because the situation isn't what's causing it. What's causing it is the momentum you've already got going on. And so from what we can feel from you, we would make more lists of the things that we're enjoying about our life, because we don't feel resistance in you. We don't feel that you've got resistance that's holding you back. And under those conditions, attention to subjects that please you can cause the momentum to go faster. This is always true. In the absence of resistance, the faster you go, the better you like it. This is always true. In the absence of resistance, the faster you go, the better you like it. This is always true. In the presence of a lot of resistance, the faster you go, the more it beats up on you. And so humans are just thinking they should just go fast all the time. Only go fast in the absence of resistance. How about this? If you're going 100 miles an hour and you hit a tree, isn't it a bigger problem than if you're going 5 miles an hour and you hit a tree? So the tree represents the resistance. So if you feel like you've got resistance, the answer isn't dig in and try harder, although that's what everybody around you wants you to do. The answer is to chill out. The answer is to relieve the stress. The answer is to let go of it. The answer is to give in. And what are you giving into? You're not giving up on your dreams. Your dreams are alive and well in your vortex. You're giving up on the resistance that is depriving you of the inspiration to have that delicious, sweet spot, glorious path on your way to the unfolding and fulfillment and fuller manifestation of the things that you want. Can you hear this? Do you ever feel limp and unmotivated? When you do, it only means your resistance is more active than your desire. Do you ever feel eager and enthusiastic? That means your desire is more active than your resistance. Do you ever feel tense? That means you've got an active desire and active resistance at the same time. And if you feel tense, do you think goosing up your desire is going to help? Maybe, but you might drag your car with the brakes on. Or do you think relaxing and releasing resistance is the answer? You see how you sort of mold it? So, if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would say things like, today, no matter where I go, no matter what I'm doing, no matter who I'm doing it with, it is my dominant intention to look for things I'm wanting to see. That, if that's the only thing you do, would cause you to offer a vibration that allows your momentum in the direction of what you want. We really write too many books about this, and we really say too many words about this, because what it really comes down to is that life has caused you to create a magnificent vibrational reality that if you would relax, the path would reveal itself to you, and you would discover endless ways of accomplishing it. Esther was allowing one time. We tell this story a lot. It's the most powerful story we ever tell. It speaks exactly to what we're talking about here. As you hear it, if you hear it, as you receive it, if you receive it, it will free you from any resistance that you've ever had about anything. So Esther is having a telephone consultation, allowing us to speak on the phone to a woman who is not really very excited about anything we have to say, because we're trying to teach her that she is the creator of her own reality, and she doesn't believe it. She believes that things would be going better if she was in charge. She thinks that there are other factors that must be in place. And she really wants us to just tell her fortune. But we knew, with the state of resistance that she was in, she wouldn't have liked us to tell her what was coming in her immediate future, because she had this wall of resistance that was not allowing any of the things that she wanted to come. And so life was proving to her that she was unworthy and unloved. She was taking score of how things were manifesting and coming to the conclusion, based on how they're manifesting, that she wasn't doing well, and she had decided it wasn't her fault. And so she didn't want to hear about deliberate creation. So we said, let's talk about some other things for a minute. And she said, like what? And we said, we'd like to talk about blue glass. And it was just annoying to her. She didn't know why we would change the subject from such an important subject of her getting what she wanted to a subject of nothing that she wanted. There was nothing about blue glass that she was interested in. But we held strong with her, and for more than a minute, we talked to her about blue glass, about different shades of blue, about different thicknesses of blue glass, about different textures of blue glass. And she became increasingly annoyed as we focused on blue glass. And then we said, let's focus on something else. Let's talk about butterflies. Again, she saw no point in it. It wasn't getting her to what she wanted, but we held strong, and we talked for over a minute about butterflies. Different kinds of butterflies, different colors of butterflies, different sizes of butterflies. And then we said, let's talk about feathers. She didn't want to talk about feathers. She was so irritated, in fact, she said, thank you for nothing. I've received nothing from this conversation. Goodbye. And she hung up. Now Esther is in the room alone. Jerry was not listening in. He was in another room. And then they immediately went off to lunch. They were in California. There's a beautiful city they love, a little city called La Jolla. There's a beautiful place that they like to eat, and they were off and there immediately. And so 10 minutes after this conversation, they're getting out of the car in front of the big pink hotel in La Jolla, on their way down the street to the restaurant that they like so much. And on their way, both hungry, eager to go, but there is a store between where they parked and where they were eating, and Esther felt it call her inside. Jerry couldn't understand why, because they were both very hungry, and Esther said, come with me just for a minute, come with me. And this was not unusual. Esther likes stores, and Jerry doesn't like stores, and in they went, and in, and on the back wall there was a wall of blue glass, ceiling to floor, wall to wall, blue glass. More different colors and shades and textures of blue glass, mostly vases, some wall hangings, some glassware, blue glass all over this wall. And when Esther saw it, she did not relate it to the conversation, because when Esther speaks for us, she is not always focused on the specifics of what we're talking about. She's so involved in the translation process, she's not contemplating it. And she did not make the association between this wall of blue glass and the conversation that we had that had activated blue glass. And then they went to George's. They had a lovely lunch, and after they were finished eating, they decided they were inspired to, they got the impulse to walk down to the cove. And so they walked down a street and down another street and down another street and then across a big lawn on their way to the rocks and the ocean. And as they were walking across the lawn, a flurry of butterflies so intense surrounded them and followed them for several steps across this lawn. It was so intense that they had to stop talking to not eat butterflies. The butterflies were fluttering by. Jerry began calling them flutterbys instead of butterflies, because they were fluttering by all around them. And still Esther is not making the association between what she is living and what was activated just an hour or so before. And then all of a sudden, Jerry spots a little boy. And Jerry said, look at that little boy. He looks like he knows you. And Esther looked at him, and of course she did not recognize him. And he was really little, maybe 3 or 4 years old. And he comes right up to Esther and hands her a feather. He'd picked it up on the ground and felt the inspiration to give it to Esther. And in that moment, Esther realized what had happened. That in a very short period of time, 3 subjects that held no resistance whatsoever in Esther's vibration had manifested just because of attention upon them. And it was so meaningful to Esther because it made her realize that it's so easy to think about the things that you really care about or that you really worry about. And for the most part, the things that you want that haven't manifested yet are the things that you think the most about. So without knowing it, you're thinking more and more about the things you want in a state of resistance. But if you could think about things to which you have no resistance, they would manifest almost instantaneously. And as this experience for Esther that she will never forget demonstrated to her that several things in the same moment nearly can manifest. That this is the way the universe is working for you. Things are lined up. Things are gathered. The cooperative components are there. And if you can find this relaxed state of not trying so hard and not working so hard and not practicing the thoughts of your own disabilities or your own dysfunctions or your own unworthiness, of which there is none. If you could not activate those things, that thing, if you could stop doing that thing that keeps what you want from flowing in, what you want would flow in. That really is the message, you see. And so once you get past that point, once you are no longer resisting most things, and you know you are because you're mostly on your high-flying disc, then if you want to increase the stakes, if you want to goose it up, then the answer, only then the answer is give more attention to the things you want. Start collecting pictures, start gathering things, start scripting about it. In other words, once you are in a state of non-resistance, you can make any statement that you want and make it with as much detail as you want. And this universe, this time-space reality, along with the energy that creates worlds, will flow to you in an endless fashion, the unfolding of the most magnificent things that you have the ability to imagine. But you got to figure out which end of the vibrational stick you're on before you turn on the gas. You see what we're getting at? It's all right to want to know if you're in a non-resistant enough place. And so think about what she's saying to us. I didn't have a desire, but I didn't have any resistance. In other words, this was like the blue glass and the butterflies and the feathers, wasn't it? Just a thought with not a lot of energy around it and no resistance and instant results. Do you find it difficult to have things that you really, really want without feeling angst about them? But that is your work. You got to soften the way you feel about the things that you want, or you're not going to be inspired to being in the right place at the right time so that you can witness the unfolding of it. Yeah.